What is going on, everyone? How are you all doing? This is Yixit at Magna Crypto, back again with another video. In today's video, we're going to be doing a market breakdown on a few altcoins, as well as a cover of Origin Protocol. So stick around and let's get to this knowledge. So first and foremost, let's start with looking at Origin Protocol. As per usual, I'm not going to go into the developer level of looking through this project. We're just going to be doing a quick overview of what it is about and then include it in the technical analysis. So Origin Protocol is a blockchain powered commerce and it's quite an easy concept to understand. It's still relatively new, but they seem to have a very developed website and product. Looking through their website, understanding their product, the kind of incentives that they would be providing in decentralizing e-commerce, it does make a lot of sense. You know, you're able to save a lot of money when you remove the middleman, and so the whole concept and product does seem very good. As well, when you look at the team that they have, world-class team members from these obviously very reputable companies, Dropbox, Google, PayPal, and that's always very important when you have the level of members that they have from these companies. Of course, there's going to be a high level of success attached to that, and when you add to that the level of backing that they have from Pantera, which is the most known out of the four in my opinion, again it adds a level of credibility to the project. Now bear in mind that VC companies do like to spread their capital, so it doesn't necessarily mean if they are backing said project that is going to be successful, but it does add a level of credibility because they're going to do their due diligence when investing in the product. So this is their product, D-Shop. It's a decentralized and open source e-commerce platform that allows anyone to create an online store easily. Here are some of the features that they have. Supports credit card payments, fully customizable, no transaction fees, free to run. So essentially they've made it very easy for you to open up a shop on their blockchain for you to facilitate trade and e-commerce. So some of the online stores created with D-Shop are Origin, Brave, Kyber Network, Solana, Contentos, and Turnio. So of course we know these three especially are very prominent cryptocurrencies, and they also have a yield element to it, so you can earn interest from holding their stablecoin. So that's a very, very positive addition to their product. So all in all, of course this is a very, very brief overview. It does look like a good project. Much more research needs to be done. However, we will include it in the TA so we can look at the charts and see what that is saying. But from a surface level overview, it does look like a solid project with good backing and a strong team. So definitely we'll be looking at this more as time goes on. It's still a small market cap as well, so there's definitely opportunity for a lot of growth if it is a strong project. When you add to that as well, it's got good volume, $28 million for 24-hour volume. Very, very good. As always, if you want to earn the 10x's, 20x's, and 50 to 100x, of course you want to make sure you want to find the gems while they're still at small levels. But at the same time, you've got to balance that with the risk of course, it might not get any adoption, it might not go anywhere. So that's the other side to that coin. So let's go ahead and break down the market. It's been a very interesting last few days / weeks. Of course, we are in the process of correcting for the last few days. And we're yet to confirm for the week, but it's looking like we are in the correction. So what I mentioned in my private Telegram group in regards to Bitcoin, if we move to the 4 hourly, let me pull up the, so this is what I said, I think it was yesterday. You know, we've had a nice recovery since the past 2 days. However, let's not celebrate yet. Once we close above the current resistance, then it needs to close above the current resistance of 52k, and then ultimately it needs to make new highs to confirm we're still in an uptrend. But this doesn't matter if you're a long-term investor. So what I was saying is this resistance over here needs to be broken before we can actually celebrate about this correction. And now looking at the price, so I made that tweet over here just as we were testing that previous resistance. Since then it's tumbled down and closed just below the bottom that was set on the 23rd of February. We actually closed below that bottom and are now testing the lowest wick. So it definitely looks like we are in a full-blown correction. Definitely on the 4 hourly anyway. We still need to confirm on the weekly, as I've said. What I'm looking for now is to confirm this correction is to, of course, continue this trend. So what we're seeing is the lower highs and also lower lows. So this was although a small lower low, this still closed below this low. So it's confirming that trend. So if it now closes below 50k, which is the previous high, then that trend has continued. So it's created another lower high. So if this continues, then I'm looking at 42k as the next major support level. So the next area of support is around 42k, as looking at this Fibonacci setup. So that's a 0.27 extension, which is just below this small consolidation, small retracement over here. And then after that, the next major levels of support is around 38k, which goes in line with this area over here. You can see this was resistance and this was support. So it does go in line with previous price action. And below that we have 35k. I think 38k is probably the strongest area of support that we'll see next. I don't imagine it to go too far past that. If it does, as you can see, we can even create a straight line from that level. So we can create that straight line over here. It actually taps quite a few areas. Let me straighten that. So you can see over here was resistance, 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 and then over here as well. So it does look like it's a valid area of resistance, so that could become support. There's of course also the case for 41 to 42k being the next support that we won't go past, because as you can see here, this was quite a high created previously. So because it was such an area of resistance, that could definitely become a stronger area of support. So that is another case for where it can basically stay and not go past. So that would be in line with the 0.27 fib extension level. So that is Bitcoin. Definitely looks like we are in a correction on the 4 hourly, but of course we need to see some further confirmation, some lower lows and some lower highs. Moving over to Ethereum. So moving over to Ethereum, quite simple where the areas of support and the next two areas of support are. We have the next level at around the previous high, which was $1,400, and the next level is around $1,000. Now, if it manages to use this as support, then of course it can reverse. Although the market and Bitcoin is creating a sell side pressure, it's possible that it can reverse from this and carry on going higher, because of course the previous high was a strong area of resistance. So for that to now flip to support could be strong enough to reverse this trend. As I said, because Bitcoin and the market is in a state of correction in a downtrend, this could be too much for Ethereum to fight against. But let's see, it's not out of the question. So what I'm looking for is for this to flip into support, and potentially if that doesn't hold, then the next area of 1,000 to turn into support. If we look at how much that has retraced from the top, so far it's about 28% correction, and to the area of support would be 33, and down to $1,000 would be about 50% correction. So let's keep an eye on that. If it does flip into support and goes on the offense, if it does turn around, then of course we need to see this level being broken and then we can say this is back on the uptrend. Next, we're looking at Chainlink. So as mentioned in some of our previous breakdowns, I did spot these kind of, blue rectangular areas in between big moves. So these areas of consolidation in between big moves led to further bigger rallies past this. So you can see here we had this kind of little consolidation, and then straight away it broke and made more new highs. Same with this area over here, a bit of consolidation, and then it broke and essentially doubled and made some new highs. So I was thinking potentially we could have that same scenario here, and it was almost going to happen. If it carried on, then for sure I could see $45 to $50 being hit. It has since reversed and now has tested the previous high, which does make a lot of sense. I could see this carry on closing below on the weekly or the daily, and just slowly kind of hitting that previous high and then actually closing with the candle closure. So I can see that happening. Potentially, if that doesn't hold, then let me go back to the weekly. Then I could see it go down to about $15, which would be almost, I think, a 50% correction, or even further than that. That would be 60% correction. Now, this is an altcoin, so that's definitely possible. 50% correction would make more sense, but as we said, this is an altcoin, and it has rallied quite a lot since this point. So it's not the question. You've got to be kind of ready for both scenarios and just see how price responds when it gets back to the previous high. So let's keep an eye on that, and I'm looking mainly at the $20 level, which is only $5 from here, so it's very close to that level already. So just keep an eye on it and react accordingly. Next, let's have a look at Polkadot. So at the top, I've started to map out my sell side, my sell target, and this is, as you can see, my plan to $100. As I said in previous videos, now that we got to $40, I do foresee that Bitcoin, but that Polkadot can reach $100. Now, of course, as time goes on, I will be adjusting to see how it reacts, how fast it goes up. If I feel that, I don't feel it's going to get to $100, then I will adjust this target and potentially sell more at a quicker point. So, take these targets if you want, if you believe in the project. As you can see, this adds up to 80%. To all my cryptocurrencies, I will be keeping 20%. That will be my suicide bag. I don't want to, if I see, for example, like Polkadot breaching $100 and get to 200 and I've sold all my Polkadot, I would be very, very upset. So I do not want to see that. Now, getting to the TA. So we've already lost a decent amount of gains, about 28 to 35%. I do see this carrying on and tapping this for support at $26. If it carries on, which this is only the beginning of the correction, I do see it potentially going down to $20, which is the next area of support, $20 to $21. And that would result in about 50% correction. And then I can see that turning around from that point. One thing I didn't mention actually from the beginning is this correction that is unfolding is one of the last opportunities we will have to really load up our bags to get all the cryptocurrencies that you've been looking at, that you've wanted and just missed the boat on. This is the opportunity to actually finally acquire some positions in those cryptocurrencies. So you got to reverse your mentality in terms of thinking, it's too risky to invest at this point. This is the point where you need to be more risk. You need to take more risk at this point, is what I'm trying to say. And actually invest at these levels. Polkadot at $30, people thought that it was never going to go back down. And even myself, I wouldn't have betted for it to go back down to this level. So this is a good opportunity to average in your buy. As I always advise in my Telegram group, dollar cost averaging is the way, because whether you're putting in a buy at $40 or $30, either way you're gonna benefit from every situation. So dollar cost averaging is the way forward, in my opinion. So if you get it at $30 and it reverses, that's fine. You've got it at a good price. If it breaks down to 20, you put in another position. That's what I've been doing, and that's how I've been profiting. So I can see Polkadot going back to this area over here, about $20 to $21, if this is broken. So let's see how that continues. Next, we'll be looking at the graph. I mentioned this in a previous video. Okay. So I actually had a different Fibonacci previously, which extended to the top of this. That did not happen. It was just before the correction, so that went out of the window. So now actually I think it's a more accurate Fibonacci, because now we have a clear high and a clear low. So I've plotted it in between these two levels, and you can clearly see that this 50% level now has acted as support, perfectly tapped the area and reversed. However, of course, if this is the correction, then I can see this getting broken and potentially getting tapped to that $1 level. The graph was, of course, as we know, had absolutely insane gains in January and February. So this, again, another opportunity to get a strong project at a good price before it carries on for the rest of the bull run. So I can see this getting broken and at least tapping that $1 level before reversing potentially. If not, 72 is the next level in the Fibonacci, but it's also the next major resistance level, which normally turns into support. Coffee break. Now, one thing I do want to admit, of course, is not all predictions will come to fruition. I had a Fibonacci plotted before, did not come true. It is what it is. You take the loss, you carry on. So moving on from that, we will look at Origin Protocol, sorry. Now, when I saw this, I do like this kind of chart, a lot of information, a lot to go off and a lot to kind of analyze. So what you can see is the clear major resistance level over here around 50 cents, which is a key number, a big round even number, 50 cents. It hasn't been able to get past this since 1 year, February. It started around January, February last year. So key level, got rejected again. And now it's in a mid-level of support. So you can see here, clear support, which has turned into resistance and then back into support. It's at this current level. Is it going to hold with the current market pressure? Unlikely, but we have to see how it goes. Next, we have support below that, which was also a kind of buy side pressure, because you can see when this has acted as support, you've had rallies, and then when it's gone below to get more liquidity, you've had more rallies. Same again here, below this area is clearly a lot of buy side pressure. So we could see this kind of dropping down into that area once again. Now, we do have to wait for it to happen. Also, you can see here a clear double bottom, looks like a even double bottom, very nicely confirmed, and then into a rally, which was quite a strong rally of around 200 up to almost 4x up to the top of the wick. So very nice rally. If it does come to these levels, then this could be a good trade setup to get a nice 50 to 100% profit. So we'll have to see as that progresses. But that's what I'm seeing at the moment with Origin Protocol. So support probably will get broken, but we have to see. And then the next support area over here. Now, you could also say this is somewhat of a downtrend as well. So you can see clear trend line. So it could go below this and have to kind of tap a bit deeper to get some more buy orders and buy more demand essentially. So let's see, let's keep an eye on this. Very interesting chart. I do like it, I must say. Next, we'll have a look at Dogecoin, the ultimate meme coin that people are still talking about. On the BTC chart, which has the most information, as I've said previously, these pumps are very rapid in its rally, and it can be a bit slower in its descent. So you can see once you have the big pump, you have a massive correction, and then slowly it crawls into nothingness before doing it again and again. So that's what we're seeing with the current rally. We found a little bit of support here, but it probably won't last too long before carrying on to the downside. So if we move to a USD chart, I think Poloniex was the one I was looking at. Yeah, so what I can see happening is, a slow death towards 0.017, and then potentially that next rally to happen. As you saw, it was like a rally, slowly down, rally, slowly down, and each rally has a smaller peak. So when it gets to these levels, who knows, I may add a little position there, but also it could go further down to the next level of support, which is around 0.007. So I think definitely nothing, do not touch this at the moment. That would be my advice, but of course, do as you please. Now, the people that were investing in Dogecoin thinking it's going to go to the moon are now suffering. Those early Dogecoin investors are now dumping their bags on them. So it's quite unfortunate, but it is what it is. So that will be all for this video. Hope you got some value from that. Just a little summary. The correction is just starting, I believe. Definitely on the 4-hourly. We still need confirmation on the weekly time frame before we can confirm. When it is confirmed, or if it is confirmed, then it normally lasts for about 3 to 4 weeks. Give or take, it might be 2 weeks, it might be 4. We'll have to see. And we'll of course be analyzing it as it progresses. And the other thing is use dollar cost averaging. This is the opportunity where you can actually get those coins that you've been looking at for a long time, but you thought you missed. Now you can actually start to build some positions in them at some good prices. So all the cryptocurrencies now at discounts, you got to change your mentality to think now is the time for me to actually, make the most money, because when it's down, that's when you make the money. That's when you put your positions in. Of course, I said dollar cost average. You don't put in your entire position straight away. You put it in day by day, because this week it's, Ethereum's at 1450 or 1490. Next week it could be at 1200. So if you put in your entire position now, you won't benefit from the next move down. That's all I want to say. Hope you got value from that. See you in the next video. Peace.